Hello everyone and welcome back to part 23 of season 3 of the F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the final sprint weekend of the campaign. We're back in Lusail at the Qatar Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Las Vegas, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We've got just 2 rounds to go of the campaign and things are looking pretty good for us against Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Of course, Las Vegas is a very, very high-speed circuit, so it was always going to be myself versus Charles Leclerc. And yeah, safe to say, we had a pretty good result in the end. They're getting the better of my teammate for the first time in a long time inside this game as well there. Ferrari, our goal now is to try and reach 900 points by the end of the year. We've got a 23-point lead over Max Verstappen as well, so we could theoretically head into the final race of the year with nothing left to play for. Further down the order, Alonso, he's been on a good run of form at the moment. He could get the jump on Lando Norris before this season is down and out, and you can see, yeah, plenty of other drivers as well, mathematically still with a shot racing with each other. Almost incredibly, I've noticed as well, Alex Albon in his Williams has had more podiums this year than Sergio Perez has achieved in a Red Bull. Absolutely mind-blowing. I believe every other driver kind of inside the top 10, with the exception of Lewis Hamilton, has had a podium this campaign. But yeah, Perez has been pretty useless in that second Red Bull car. Performance-wise, has still seemed to be ahead of McLaren and Aston Martin there as well. As you can see, Mercedes, Red Bull now battling it out with Williams, it would appear. But just 2 rounds left of the campaign. Make sure you get yourself subscribed if you're new as well. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs on the channel. And yeah, let's do this thing.
Today is all about the rhythm, all about the flow, because it's qualifying in Qatar. We're under the floodlights for a high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow. Wherever you are in the world, you're very welcome.
Well, here we are then for the final one-shot qualifying weekend of the year, as long as I remember to set it up properly again in Abu Dhabi. I must admit, I've been quite a big fan of this format towards the end of the season. I think it's worked out really nicely, and I do think, yeah, we're going to keep it ready as we head into Season 4. I haven't quite decided yet when I'm going to go down to short seasons as well on this game. I'm thinking I might wait until I've won a world title, and then we'll start cutting them back down to like 16 race seasons and things like that. Because ultimately, yeah, some of the tracks on this game are still very, very predictable. Qatar, though, I think is one that I want to keep around. This place is so much fun. You can see just hanging on to the car through that first sector, but we do go purple. Still obviously get to win a sprint race inside this game. I would love to try and get one on the board here this weekend. We almost were able to last season here, but yeah, just didn't quite have enough in the end. I think it was to get the jump on Lando Norris. Is a little bit early on the tipping point through the end of Sector 2. But at the moment, yeah, it looks like Alonso, once again, is going to be our biggest threat there. Practically no time between us by the end of that second sector. But I mean, all of this easy flat in this car right now. Just 2 more corners to go. Down 1 gear through the penultimate corner of the lap. And now we just got to try and spot the braking point, ready for this final hairpin there. Get on that throttle as early as we can. Try and carry the speed up towards the line. Is it going to be our first sprint pole? Yes, it is. Back on top at last. Back-to-back pole positions. And there we go. Once again, Fernando Alonso seems to be the threat against Ferrari here, but it is P1 by 10th and a half as we head into the sprint race there. Leclerc lines up 3rd ahead of George Russell and Max Verstappen, so a good resurgent drive by the Dutchman here. Again, Haas, so weird. One weekend they're P4, the next weekend they're 11th and 13th on the grid. It makes 0 sense to me, but still clearly that car is a bit inconsistent inside F124, but we're lining up in the best seat of the house ready for the sprint. Please, I beg we can convert this one.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. 3.3 miles, 16 turns, just the one DRS zone, but it's a long straight. We are in the middle of the desert. There is artificial grass around the track to stop sand being blown over the circuit. but they're still going to experience it if they go wide. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Firestarter lines up on pole position, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Stroll, Hamilton, Perez, Gasly, Albon, Hulkenberg, Behrman, Sainz, Ricciardo, Ocon, Joe, Tsunoda and Frederic Vesti. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. So a sprint race today, and that means lights to flag, no stops. And how is that going to affect the driver behind the wheel?
Absolutely. So for today, there's no pit stop, or shouldn't be a pit stop anyway, if things go right, and you can forget about strategy. You're just driving today as fast as you can, make those overtakes if you need to, and that's what a sprint weekend's all about.
Well, here we are then on the grid, ready for 10 quick laps around the Losail circuit. Team reckon the mediums is going to be the way to go. The soft compound tyres don't tend to last very well around this venue, but a lot of the sprints recently have been soft compound tyres there. But Alonso, I mean, I think we saw him win this race back in Season 1. He had a really, really good campaign here and almost won it in Season 2 as well, if I remember. So this has been a good track for him. I'm praying today it is going to be a good track for us as well. Let's do this thing though. Ready on the grid for the Qatar sprint. It is 5 red lights. And it's lights out. And away we go. They're really trying to make sure I get a decent getaway. But unfortunately, once again, we haven't been able to put the power down very well as Alonso to the inside in towards turn 1 there. Almost shades of Hamilton Russell through turn 1 as there is contact between myself and Charles Leclerc. Of course, the team weren't happy with our teammates' actions last time out in Las Vegas. Weirdly though, no kind of consequences or repercussions for that one. So yeah, clearly Ferrari still siding with the Monegasque man there. But as we make our way through lap 1 though, Alonso back up into the lead. Obviously a little bit more rejuvenated as well after that miraculous result in Portimao. Admittedly, a couple of things did fall into place for him, but it would be quite cool to see Aston Martin actually able to throw down the gauntlet over the course of an entire season inside F1 24. They seem to start really well and end really well, but the middle is absolutely terrible for them. This sprint race as well is going to be a good learning experience for us because, like Brazil, this place is terrible for tyre temperature.
This lap, you can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So yeah, we are also using this sprint race to kind of work out just how well the tyres will last. Often I've seen actually that a 2-stop might be viable in the Grand Prix. But yeah, obviously in the sprint there's no chance to pit, otherwise you're absolutely screwed. But Alonso, he's just not able to build up any gap. Let's see then just how quick Alonso is when we've got the DRS. I guess one of the good things still about having a very OP car in a straight line, we can afford to run a bit more downforce than the AI and still make moves happen. There's Charles Leclerc as well trying to close in on us. To the outside we'll go.
Fastest lap of the race.
Piastri, of course, the real sprint winner here last season, new fastest lap of the day. Alonso, though, I mean, he's willing to put it all on the line early on, trying to squeeze us out. We make our way side by side through turn 1 and turn 2. We'll swoop through, though, and back into the lead of the race we go. So now your top 3 on the grid, your top 3 in the race. I do find it absolutely ridiculous. Get that line nailed through that final sector, and all 4 of those corners are completely flat out. It is just so much grip in these cars. Here comes Alonso though. How much straight line speed has the Spaniard got? We're going to be 3 wide for the lead. Back down towards someone there as Leclerc will try and make the double overtake happen. Almost contact between the Ferrari world champion and the man that came so close on 2 separate occasions. Alonso though makes it happen.
Completed a pass for the lead of this race.
And I mean, Russell and Verstappen as well, waiting in the wings, waiting for an opportunity here. It really does feel like, yeah, unless we go to a super high-speed circuit, which of course there's no more of this year, Ferrari's advantage is all but gone as Russell makes an error. So now my big title rival Verstappen right behind me. Right, here we go then. Surely Leclerc this time round is going to be trying to line up a move on Fernando.
Amount of time to the car behind, just keep pushing.
And again, we're going to go 3 wide there. That time around, the Aston Martin is going to get absolutely mugged off as Leclerc to the lead of the race. We're once again going to go side by side with Fernando through turn 1 and turn 2. Oh, I gave him a big old squeeze there, but not quite able to make it happen. And this gives Leclerc a golden opportunity to try and break free. Oh, Alonso, he wanted to back out, thought better of it, and then kind of was forced into the decision anyway. We're only a half distance.
Car ahead. Try to get past as quickly as you can. Push, push.
Still plenty of time to make things happen in this race. But yeah, now Leclerc to the front of the field. And of course, yeah, I'd probably say I now feel like we should race harder against our teammate than anybody else. As we saw in Vegas, a Ferrari with DRS is much quicker than a Ferrari without it. Maybe to the surprise of absolutely nobody there, as Norris again a new fastest lap.
The fastest lap of the race so far.
Around the outside of our teammate, who again wanted to keep the nose there, but back into the lead we'll go. This time around, hopefully we can hold on to it for more than a lap. Oh, we've got yellows, Someone's got issues a bit further behind, no idea who that is. I think that might be a V-Carb? So they're a V-Carb or I think Sergio Perez, yep.
Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
And if he somehow keeps on to that seat for another year, I will be staggered, because Perez has not delivered anything of note for Red Bull this campaign, and probably ultimately cost Verstappen at least some kind of shot, because pretty much all year it has been the Dutchman up against both Ferraris. I think Leclerc this time around is going to get the run back on me again in towards turn 1. Less than 3 laps to go now of this race. And he'll get past me before the yellow flags, of course, but I don't think anybody has led this race for more than 2 laps at any point so far, so yeah, I mean, this surely is what the FIA were hoping for when they brought in sprints. But F124 delivers it a bit better than most IRL sprints can. Yeah, those left-hand side tyres are right up towards the limit of the temperature. They're not overheating just yet, but yeah, they're pretty close. But of course, obviously, if we're not going to use the softs in the race, that shouldn't be too much of a concern. 2 laps left here from Saturday in Qatar. And hopefully we're about to get the run on Charles Leclerc again there. He's going to try and have a look defensive. Oh, I thought about it. I thought about trying to go even more to the inside there, but we'll try and swoop back through. Get the power down. Oh, Leclerc's actually going to barge me. Leclerc, they're running into the side of me through turn 1. Somehow our teammate doesn't get any damage, but yet again, it feels like Leclerc playing by different rules than what Ferrari have told me. We're going to try and go back up the inside there, return the favour, squeeze him out on the exit, and back to the lead we go. But Charles Leclerc again makes contact with us. As we round through the final couple of corners then to start the last lap of the Qatar sprint, you can still see Leclerc waiting in the wings. So this run back down towards turn 1 is really, really critical for us. They're trying to roll on the power as early as I could.
Let's bring it home.
See both Leclerc and Alonso closing in on me, but we've got enough straight line speed into turn 1 that time round. Alonso trying to have a look around the outside of our teammate, and they'll have the inside line ready for turn 2. This battling could work wonders for us there, as Alonso will make the move happen and will get himself back up into P2 then of this race. But as we navigate our way through, surely we've dealt with the most dangerous bit of this last lap here. Surely now, as long as I don't do anything stupid, finally sprint race glory will be coming home to us. I've bottled it later on than this before though, so I won't count anything until we are up over that start-finish line there. But as we navigate our way in through to the end of Sector 2, I mean, this car is so much fun around this circuit. You really do feel like you're hanging on to the ragged edge. Right, so many of these corners. Alonso still trying to threaten us towards the very end here. But remember that we put a bit of spare fuel in the car as well as we head into the real Grand Prix. But I mean, look at that. Completely flat out through that entire section of corners there. We're even able to keep it between the white lines. One more corner to go though, and we are going to be back on top finally in a sprint race on F124. It's P1, baby. What a way to kick off the weekend. Well, there we go. It is P1, baby, here in Qatar on Saturday night. And after the disappointment here last season, I am very, very happy that we were able to walk away with that there. Fernando Alonso comes through for P2. In the end, your top three finished exactly where they started there. Piastri and Norris able to get past Verstappen and George Russell there, with Lance Stroll rounding out your point scorers. Hamilton a bit disappointed to end up in a Ferrari sandwich, in a Haas sandwich even, I should say. But you can see, yeah, top 11 cars covered by just 4 seconds in the end. It was basically a race of two halves, and of course Perez the only one who failed to see the checkered flag. That means in terms of the championship, we now need to not lose to Verstappen in the Grand Prix, and it's done. It's over. We're going to wrap up P2 in the championship as well there. Ferrari with nearly maximum points as well from the sprint takes us up to 829. I would like by the end of the year for us to end up with twice the points of Red Bull. I don't know if you remember, but throughout the first half of the year, they were actually able to stay fairly close to us. Boy, oh boy, has that fallen apart for them. Well, we were able to do it on Friday night. Surely we can do it again here on Saturday night. Pole position, hopefully, is about to be coming back once again here. And I would like to try. I think that would be the first time ever we claim both pole positions in a Grand Prix weekend inside F1 24. But of course, first and foremost, we've got to make sure we get the lap hooked up. We have supreme confidence, though, around this venue. It is, like I said, one of my favourites on the F1 calendar. But not with lines like that. A little bit of a mistake through the opening couple of corners. Certainly cost me more time there, so hopefully the FIA won't penalise me based on the track limits. But Leclerc as well, he will be hungry. McLaren now know they have got some very good race pace as well, so they might be able to carry a little bit of extra confidence into the one run here. But yeah, it is so difficult to try and get laps nailed when the pressure is on. You know, when you have only got one chance to try and deliver. The likes of Alonso and Leclerc, they thrive under pressure. Leclerc still, I reckon, on his day, is one of the best one-lap qualifiers ever in Formula 1. And imagine if there was one-shot qualifying back when Ayrton Senna was in the sport. That would have been a sight to behold as well. Once more, though, completely flat through this section of corners. You can see Alonso just being super smooth as well. They're able to carry the speed. We had a really nice line through the penultimate corner, though. One more to go. Can we try and roll on that throttle as early as we can? Will it be good enough for pole? I don't think it is. Alonso's going to snatch it. We end up P2, and the gap must have been next to nothing. Well, look at that then at the end of qualifying. 4 cars covered by barely 1/10 of a second when all is said and done. But Fernando Alonso will storm to pole position here in Qatar. What an effort that is there. 5 thousandths in it between myself and Lando Norris. And that might be one of Leclerc's worst qualifying efforts of the year as well. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we shouldn't be sad about P2 on the grid, should we? But it is a little bit of a shame there when the gaps are so close. Perez again ended up P9, but of course he'll have a grid penalty. But Alonso now in the hot seat. Could we see pole be converted into the win twice this weekend?
Welcome back to Qatar. Losail International Circuit is our venue, famous for races on 2 wheels through the years. Its F1 bow saw a Hamilton win. Who takes the flag today? Losail International was built in 2004, 3.3 miles, 16 turns with just 1 DRS zone, but it's a long straight and there's plenty of high-speed overtaking opportunities through the corners. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, and Firestarter completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell, Stroll, Perez, Albon, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Behrman, Ocon, Ricciardo, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Joe, Vesti, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me is Anthony Davidson. Well, they're having a better time than their teammates so far this year. How do you keep that momentum going? Well, it's all about forgetting last time because that was a bit of a shocker. How do they change the story today?
You've got to put it behind you. Whatever happened last time, I was always told as a driver, park it, forget about it. Obviously, feel the pain when it happens, but then you can't dwell on it and carry that through to the next race. So put it behind you and just crack on with this race coming your way now.
Well, here we are then, back on the grid once again for the final race of the weekend here in Losail, and this one is the big one. 29 laps ahead of us. As much as I want to try and be in the fight for the win, the biggest priority of all is making sure that we beat Verstappen so we don't run the risk of losing to him next weekend. You know, if I have a mechanical failure or something like that. Ferrari, they've enjoyed screwing me over the course of the year there, and ultimately it has led to Charles Leclerc with, you know, he might have still won the world title, but I feel like, yeah, he was given it a little bit easier than he probably should have been there. But Alonso, he's trying to hunt down win number 2 of the year. Maybe Aston Martin can finally carry some momentum into the future. It is 5 red lights on the grid. And after a mighty long hold, he's going to be lights out and away we go. And once again, getting off to an absolutely terrible getaway. Lando Norris doing a pretty good job, and so is Charles Leclerc there, as we're going to try and cover off our teammate down towards someone. There's plenty of contact behind, as I think Leclerc made contact with both Russell and Lando Norris there, but yeah, maybe the team not too fond of that one. But I saw Leclerc trying to eye up a move to the inside and thought, no, I don't think we're going to allow that one in towards the first corner. And after the contact yesterday, don't think they can really blame me either. No contact was made by myself and our teammate. Yeah, certainly heard some bumping and scraping a little bit further back there. That's worked out though beautifully for Alonso at the start of this Grand Prix. Just building up a little bit of a gap early. As you can already see they're trying to push on this set of tyres, get them up to temperature. Although usually, yeah, it's about trying to monitor the temperature around Qatar as well. So, got to make sure we stay in the range of Fernando early on. Got to make sure that we build a little bit of a buffer ahead of Leclerc as well. Lance Stroll up to P5, so he's done a pretty good job on lap 1. No idea where Verstappen is, because even on maximum fuel, we can still take that corner flat. Not that one, though. I'm trying to be really, really strategic here early on in this race. We might just... I think we have made it work there. Got Leclerc out of our DRS as well, so that means we can hopefully attack Alonso freely. But our teammate might be under pressure from Norris and Stroll. We start lap 3.
New fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, not quite as fast as I managed in the sprint, but of course we've got a lot more fuel on board still as Alonso gets the elbows out down at turn 1. He's more than happy to defend there, as Norris will move back up into P3. So that's worked out nicely for us. We'll let them squabble behind. Maybe we'll even work with Fernando early on in the GP. Here we go then, a little bit closer to Fernando this time round as we make our way back in towards turn 1. Trying to look the long way around the Spaniard, and we'll make it happen there. So starting lap 4, looks like we're going to see as many fights for the lead as we did in the sprint. But yeah, a lot more time for it to be decided today. It's really trying to learn which curves you can attack and which ones you can't. But Alonso, I don't quite think has got the same pace as myself or Leclerc. Luckily, neither does Norris, and he's really costing our teammate there, as, I mean, the Spaniard will once again get back down or inside at that first corner. Trying to make sure, yeah, I'm happy to let him go back through, but it's just making sure that we don't lose time tripping over each other. I think Leclerc is getting really fed up with that McLaren further behind. He might try and go for a bit of an aggressive pit strategy, but yeah, he's got to try and undercut, or hope that Alonso and I battle more aggressively.
Okay, some information on Gasly. They're retiring from the race.
Well, that doesn't bode well for Haas either. Gasly out of the Grand Prix, so clearly reliability gremlins still setting in for the American outfit. You know, it's that kind of thing as well that I have to consider. Admittedly, yeah, the other Ferrari has been perfect this season in terms of reliability. From one hiccup last time, sorry, not last time, the time before in Portugal. It's a shame our car hasn't been that great. Number two treatment, maybe? Who knows? But at the final corner, though, let's wait and see if we can get the run on Alonso this time round then. We'll try and once again use that DRS, and you can see how much he struggled to put alongside us. We aren't going to have so much trouble there to the outside of the Spaniard. And we make it happen in towards that first corner. Oh, Alonso dives it back down the inside. But we'll hang on.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power.
Oh, well, I haven't really been checking that kind of thing recently. What is the MGU... what's it, the MGUK? No, it is the H. No, it's neither. It's the ICE, isn't it? Sorry, I'm being really stupid. I'll put 55% wear. I mean, Qatar is an engine killer. So hoping that doesn't manifest into a major issue later on. We can keep Alonso at bay each and every time when we need to, but ultimately, yeah, we just go through too much battery. It's not a track where you can recharge the pack up too easily. Obviously, yeah, this car's pretty good in terms of its battery usage anyway, but it can be a little bit tricky still to find that balance sometimes. We are getting closer to the pit window as well. Not too sure when we're going to box. I can't help but feel the team will want Leclerc to get the undercut on me, just to try and get him ahead of that group behind. But with Lance Stroll then moving up into P3, it does start to worry me that Aston Martin dominance could bore Formula 1 fans at this stage of the year. We are officially in an Aston Martin sandwich. Could we genuinely see Lance Stroll fight for a win? I don't really know, as I thought Alonso would go more defensive than that down towards turn 1. Hat's trying to look around the outside. Again, the Spaniards will try and cover me off there. And deja vu then from the sprint. So we're going to go side by side through turn 1 and turn 2 there. The Spaniard will make it back through. We'll try and utilise the straight line speed though once again up into turn 4, but not able to. And it's those kind of battles that cost us against those cars behind. Leclerc, though, all the way down to P5. So our teammate is really struggling. Oh, no, Norris now, just as we're getting towards the pit stop window, has got himself back inside that 1 second mark. And that really does ruin Alonso and I's little battle at the front. So I'm sure the McLaren man will be here in no time. Team want us to dive into the pit lane in the not too distant future. Like I said, I'm happy for Charles to get the first call if he needs it. But, yeah, these tyres are definitely starting to give up the ghost. Well, no one willing to blink just yet then into the pit lane. So Alonso again is going to go defensive on me. We're trying to save a little bit of battery now, just for when the time comes there as well. Alonso, you can see again aggressively, will just like cover us off down through turn 1. Can we try and get the run on him out of turn 2 though, and up the hill through turn 3.
We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your best to get past and get on with the race. Okay, really, really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
Well, I'll be honest, I was not intending on making the move there. I thought we would just try and see if we could force an error out of him, but he broke earlier than expected. We were able to get straight around the outside of the Spaniard, and back into the lead of the Grand Prix we go. Unfortunately, though, we've now got a huge train of cars behind us, as everybody else, I think, kind of worked out what Alonso and I were doing, and has now decided to do it themselves. End of 13. Oh, Alonso's made the call. Alonso's our first in the pits. Team have said I can have the pit box this time round, and I guess obviously if we don't do it now, we're going to have to do more than half the race on these these medium compounded tyres. So I think, yeah, we've got to dive in at the end of this lap. But Alonso, he might be able to get a huge undercut on everybody here. Fresh, hard compound tyres, I'm sure will feel wonderful. Yeah, that front left is looking rather angry now, 68% on it. I think Alonso, annoyingly as well, has come out in completely clear air here. There's Lando, Norris, Lance Stroll, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, all waiting right up behind me. Into the pit lane will come, though. We've got a couple of cars following us in. Luckily, Leclerc will stay out there then, so Norris and Stroll both diving into the pit lane behind us. You can see Fernando Alonso a little bit further back, trying to get on with it. Oh, and the team have messed us up.
Front wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put it behind us now and get back into this race.
Well, I've got no idea how we've been allowed into the path of Max Verstappen on pit exit, but he's got to jump on everybody then, as Lando Norris and Lance Stroll both must have had pit issues as well. There goes Fernando Alonso in the net lead of the race. But, yeah, we probably should have come out at least behind Verstappen. We would have still been ahead of Norris, I guess. But a very weird pit lane. And suddenly now, yeah, the man we need to beat today, right behind us in this Grand Prix. The other man I want to beat today, 3 seconds up the road. Claire and George into the pit lane then. So hopefully we're going to see where we are net in this Grand Prix in just a moment. But Alonso, what won him that race at Portugal was his rapid pace on the hard tyres in the second stint of the GP. Are we about to see that again today? As you can see how hard we're trying to push on to close back in that gap. Every other car into the pit lane there. Looks like Russell has got a decent jump on Charles as well. So we go purple through the final sector. But yeah, that pit stop definitely cost us time. Russell's going to come out in P2. Leclerc, though, I reckon might have had a bad stop as well then, as Oh, having to try to avoid Russell down in turn 1. Verstappen will say thank you very much. Leclerc's now all over my gearbox again. And suddenly this race goes from bad to worse. Mistakes are just creeping in. Russell and Verstappen, P2 and P3 here, once again just showcasing how important the driver skill is behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car. Alonso as well doing that a little bit further up the road, but surely Max is going to get a run on George. Surely we might be able to get the run on the pair of them there, as Russell will try and go defensive. 3 wide back down in towards turn 1 again. We're still going to be 3 wide there as Verstappen, I don't think realised there were 2 cars on his inside, but a double overtake done and dusted. That was all a little bit nip and tuck through the first couple of corners. Alonso, that gap's still 3.5 seconds up the road. But if we can break free from these guys, I still want to believe we've got the pace towards the end. Oh, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We are dragging those cars behind us with me, but half a second taken out of Alonso that time round. He will have slightly older tyres to the end of the race, but just reminding the Spaniard, we are coming for him. Another 4 tenths taken out of the Spaniard that lap. We've got 10 still to go. Effectively, it is a sprint race from here to the end. But, that being said, getting to him is one thing. Getting past and staying in front is another. That's how powerful the DRS is here. I do genuinely believe we've got that advantage of about half a second a lap over Fernando. But when he's in the DRS, you just cannot break free. But I think Alonso is just starting to become wise to what we're doing here late on in the day. And is just starting to ramp up his own pace as well as Leclerc, Verstappen and Norris. The 3 drivers in the top 3 IRL this season. They're battling it out further behind us. I think, yeah, if we saw Alonso fight for the win like this in Qatar at the end of the year, I would be very, very surprised. But, yeah, we're just maybe about to get our teammate out of the range. But he could still get to us by the end of the afternoon as well. Well, come on, a little over 6 laps to go then. And we know once we get inside that DRS range of Fernando again, hopefully things are going to be a little bit easier for us. Slightly wide through the final part of that section. It does make the difference. The gap was, I think, at 1 second and half a tenth there. So we'll have to wait another lap. No, wait, we've done it. We have done it. No idea whether the detection point is then. That was a little bit peculiar.
Get out of that, I'm afraid, but don't worry about it. There's a long way to go. Chin up, and let's focus to the end.
Only I could fail a program on this game because I haven't used enough battery. What on earth is that? But you can see how much we gain on Alonso. Back down towards turn 1, trying to get through a load of it. Leclerc and Verstappen now, unless we really fight, I think are out of a shot here. But it's still yet to be decided. Surely this time Fernando Alonso is going to be a sitting duck back down towards turn 1, but this is where the strategy element really comes back in again. And there aren't many drivers more intelligent than Fernando Alonso here. Try and utilise that DRS. We'll have a look to the inside at the first corner. He's going to really try and squeeze me there, but he'll get late on the brakes around the outside. Oh, Alonso! I mean, we were still there. I think he was trying to hook it up and then just get back down to the apex, but, I mean, we were still alongside him, surely. We warranted a little bit of room. It's up towards the top of the hill again, to the outside of the Spaniard. We've made it work once today. Can we make it work again, or even more wheel banging between the pair of us? We'll have the inside line for the hairpin, but again, Alonso is going to try and be brave around the outside and pinch us here, and still on the exit of the corner. We're able to hook it up around the outside again through the next one. This is brilliant racing. Worrying me, though, it's letting everybody else further back into the fight here, still side by side. As around the outside we'll go, we'll have the inside for the next corner. Just about get in front there, and what a battle that was. But back into the lead of the Grand Prix we finally go. 5 laps left. It is anybody's to win. Oh, here comes Alonso again, though, and Lando Norris back down to turn 1. Norris this time trying to have a look down the inside of our teammate. Sorry, Leclerc even having a look as well down the inside of Verstappen. So Norris now up in a P2 out of absolutely nowhere. Leclerc unable to find a way past Max Verstappen. 5 cars here covered by barely 1 second. Oh, I thought that was a mechanical failure then, but it is DRS and that's still annoying.
With the DRS, you will not be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out for now.
Oh, that could be really, really costly towards the end of the afternoon, and I guess now track position means even more for us if we know we won't have the speed over some of the other drivers there. We're all on that throttle at the final corner. Surely Lando Norris this time round He's going to be able to have a look past me here as the McLaren gaining to the outside. He'll try and have a look down in towards that first corner, but we won't back out of it, like I said. Now, without, knowing that we won't get any DRS anyway, may as well try and hang on there as Lando gets the elbows out. Oh, rerun a little bit wide there over the curbs through turn 2. We won't try to capitalise because of the advantage gained, but Norris now, out of nowhere, into the lead of the race. 3 laps left after this one. Come on then, Lando Norris. We've got to try and get a run on him. This is going to be a big indicator as to whether we'll have a chance or not towards the end of this race. If we can get past him again, we've still got a good shot. As luckily, yeah, even without the DRS advantage, we're still able to gain on him. Alonso, though, further behind, might be gaining on the pair of us there as well. That time round, Lando swings in. Will just run us out a little bit wide there. And once again, we'll keep the place. Big snap of oversteer. But we keep it pointing the right way. Come on, 2 laps left to go. It is still anybody's race inside this top 5. Leclerc just starting to struggle a little bit. And after we waited basically all year to get our 4th winner, could Lando Norris become our 5th there to the outside? Oh, with the McLaren. Again, I thought he'd just cover a bit more defensively if we tried to look for it. So I thought we'll try and force our way to the outside there. But again, wheel-to-wheel contact is made. And again now, unless that DRS gets patched up, we aren't really going to stand a chance here down towards turn 1. We can get near him, but we can't seem to get past him there, as we've got to try and be closer somehow around the rest of the lap. But we are desperately trying to hang on towards the end of this Grand Prix. Norris, he hasn't really looked like he's had a shot all afternoon after his great qualifying effort to line up in P3. But McLaren might well and truly be back this weekend. For some reason, this track suits their car so well. He's got a little bit lucky with the timing of a couple of things there. Alonso and I's battle a few laps ago. But as we make our way into the final sector of the penultimate lap, Lando Norris still at the front of this field there. Completely pinned through the first, second. Tiny blend through the third. We needed a little bit more there. So we ran a little bit wide and cost ourselves time. But this corner means everything to us. DRS is back. We've got the DRS back. So surely now Norris isn't going to have as much of a say on it. As we open up the battery, we're going to open up the DRS as well. Open up that rear wing. Come on. Go, go, go. As we'll get to the inside of Lando down towards turn 1. He's going to try and cover us off around the outside there, but not enough grip to do it. Alonso will just wait in the wings to try and make sure that he doesn't get involved in any contact there. But suddenly, the DRS coming back at the perfect time. Is that about to win us the Qatar Grand Prix and finally return to back-to-back victories as well? We seem to have either finished 1st or 3rd throughout most of the second half of this campaign. It has been a truly bizarre season in terms of those weird and wonderful little stats as well for us. We've still only had 1 second place finish this campaign, and that was all the way back at in Baku as well. But as we make our way in towards the final few corners of this Grand Prix, they're just trying to hang on now. A little bit wide there. That might cost us a bit against Lando here. He might be able to get a run on me up in towards the final sector. He is Lando Norris trying to have a look down the inside in towards the final sector of the Grand Prix there. And look at that. The McLaren gets his elbows out there. He'll move back through a power play to the lead of the Grand Prix. And as soon as I say about how we've barely finished P2 this year, that might be exactly what happens to the outside through the final corner. Can we get the throttle down? It's going to be wheel to the line. We've got the grip, though. We are going to claim it.
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys! Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today.
And of course, what 3 race victories, a hat-trick of wins, does for a driver's confidence is huge going forward in the championship. You know, they've got the energy on their side now, and it's for the others to try and stop this progression of victories.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
Well, I'm gutted, even more gutted, that we didn't take pole position in the end. Otherwise, it would have been the perfect weekend for us here in Qatar. We took the sprint win, we got fastest lap and the Grand Prix victory as well as sprint pole, but only P2 in real qualifying there stops us from having the perfect sweep. 5 cars covered by just 0.6 of a second. I believe that makes it the closest ever 5-car finish in Formula 1 history. A record that has stood, I believe, since the 1960s at Monza, when 5 cars were covered by 0.069 seconds at the end of the day there. But Norris and myself drag racing to the line. Alonso almost got back in there, and Verstappen and Leclerc, they were barely a couple of car lengths away as well come the checkered flag. That has easily got to be the most dramatic race we've ever had inside this series. But we take the dub, and that means that if I have a look at the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship, I believe, yeah, we've got the gap over Max Verstappen as well there. 42 points over the Dutchman. So as we head into the final race of the year, there is nothing left to be decided. However, I still want to try and win that race, because it could put us back 100 points behind Leclerc, and in my mind, that to me means that we deserve this world title as well, obviously through all of that bad luck mechanically towards the end of the year there. Constructors-wise, well, Ferrari, we could still reach the 900-point buffer, but we would basically need a 1-2 in the final race of the campaign. We would have to win in Abu Dhabi, and I believe then the second car could come like P5 or something like that, but yeah, we really want to try and reach 900 points by the end of the year, and we are agonizingly close to having twice the points of Red Bull. Honestly, though, looking up and down the order, I think unless Haas can perform a miracle in that season finale, every single team is looking pretty safe in the Constructors' Championship where they are. Constructors-wise, Norris maybe could lose out to Alonso. Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton, 3 points between them. But yeah, most of the runners as well looking pretty comfortable with where they're at as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the season finale in Abu Dhabi.